Hello everybody, this is Oceanus, and while this is not really a political video, I do think I have to say something here. So, there's a report that Stephen Colbert is planning to co-write a new Lord of the Rings movie called Shadow of the Past. The synopsis: 14 years after the passing of Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin set out to retrace the first steps of their adventure. Meanwhile, Sam's daughter, Eleanor, has discovered a long-buried secret and is determined to uncover why the lore of the ring was nearly lost before it even began. The movies will adapt the 6 chapters, 3 through 8, of Fellowship that never got adapted for the film. These chapters include the journey to the Old Forest and Tom Bombadil. Let me tell you right now, I don't mind new Lord of the Rings media because I do think that there's a lot of stuff that Tolkien wrote that should be adapted to screen, like the Silmarillion, for example, in a good way. But I don't understand this. Like, this just seems like it has the potential to be really bad fan fiction, and especially with Stephen Colbert, who's apparently a Tolkien fan. And that's fine and all, but I just don't trust him to write something that would be good for The Lord of the Rings, and something that doesn't include references to current political thing. Let's see the full story here. Sorry, there's a bunch of pop-up ads here, but whatever. So we got new Lord of the Rings movie from Stephen Colbert and his son in development at Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Has revealed that Stephen Colbert and his son are developing a brand new Lord of the Rings movie. The announcement came Tuesday night via the studio's various social media accounts. The video announcement opened with the Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson giving a quick update about the next film in the fantasy franchise. Andy Serkis' The Hunt for Gollum. Jackson said of the project, which is set for release in 2027, Andy's doing a terrific job. It's looking amazing. The script is coming together really well, and I think it's going to be a really good film. Now, I don't understand. Again, I don't understand why we're doing The Hunt for Gollum. However, I do trust Andy Serkis to do a better job than Stephen Colbert is, simply because, from what I understand, Serkis does a lot of is very adamant about sticking to source material on things that he adapts. So this one, I think, has a bit more promise. Again, I don't understand the point of why we're doing the hunt for Gollum, because I don't really understand what the hunt for Gollum could possibly mean. Is it the hunt for Gollum as in the the Mordor hunting him to interrogate him about the location of the ring, which in turn has him say that the ring is in the Shire, now possessed by Bilbo Baggins. Is that what the Hunt for Gollum means? Like, if so, okay, well that would be an interesting film, but I'm hoping that's what it means. Um, and I do recall that Gandalf himself, at least in the films, I didn't. Apparently, like I love the films, but from what I have heard, they did diverge from the book significantly. But I don't know if this is related to um if Gandalf, because I remember in the film Gandalf said that he hunted for Gollum for a long time and he couldn't find him, and the enemy got to him first. I'm wondering if that is what this is going to be about. If so, that's interesting. That'd be interesting. I'm still kind of hesitant because, it's adapting something that Tolkien didn't really specify a lot about, and Tolkien is very well known for his vagueness on certain things, intentional vagueness. Like what's it called? Like the things that gnaw at the roots of the earth, those things that are just never explained, but he just drops them and be like, oh yes, this exists, but I'm not going to explain it further, and it adds to the mystery of the world. That's my only concern is if there are intentional mysteries being left, I don't want them adapting them because it would just give us an answer that might be unsatisfactory. But anyway, Jackson then teased his very special partner who will help develop the next film after the hunt for Gollum, titled The Lord of the Rings: Shadows of the Past. That partner is none other than the late show host Colbert, who Jackson pitched through a video call. Colbert, a vocal token fanatic, then explained that the plot of the movie will come from chapters of The Fellowship of the Ring that didn't make it into Jackson's 2001 adaptation. Okay, already, why do like okay? I don't. I'm not a fan of Colbert. If you're just now getting that, but you're a Tolkien fan. That's great, Colbert. That's great. But why this seems like a giant rehash. Like yes, there were a lot of things that were kept out of the 2001 film adaptation. As good as that film was, that you couldn't have made it any longer than it already was without going into like 5 hour territory or maybe even longer. But I don't why it just seems like we would be making something that is like, oh, guess what? This happened in the first film too, and then it's like, okay, well then why wasn't that just in the film to begin with? I just don't really see the point of it. Like, yeah, seeing more Tolkien on screen is great, but it let's just go further. You know what the books mean to me and what your films mean to me, Colbert told Jackson. But the thing I found myself reading over and over again were the 6 chapters early on in The Fellowship of the Ring that y'all never developed into the first movie back in the day. It's basically chapter 3 is company through Fog on Barrow Downs, and I thought, oh wait, maybe that could be its own story that could fit into the larger story. Could we make something that was completely faithful to the books while also being completely faithful to the movies that you guys had already made? And here's the other issue as well. And I understand Colbert's argument here. I'm hoping this is going to be a good movie. If this is actually happening, I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping that Colbert can make a good Lord of the Rings film. That would be amazing. But the problem is that there was a very the one of the biggest differences that the films made from the books was the timing of everything. Um, I, I- Now I haven't read the books actually. I love the films. I haven't read the books. I haven't had time to read the books, but I do know certain things about the books that did not make into the film. And one of those things was the fact that um, I think that the timing of when Gandalf went to Minas Tirith to figure out if Frodo indeed had the One Ring, and when Frodo actually started his journey was like years and years and years. Like it was a very long time that he was just sitting there peacefully in the Shire. But in the films, this stuff happens pretty much immediately. Like, oh, you got Gollum telling the Mordor where the ring is. You got the Nazgul going out, and then within like a couple days, they're there at the Shire. Frodo has to go. Sam has to go. They meet Pippin and Merry along the way, and then they're all just the crew, you know. But so that's like the issue there is the timing of all this. How would you fit this into the timing into the timetable of the films that had shortened the time span that it took the initial hobbits to leave the Shire and get debris. Like I don't I'm in theory you could do it, but I'm just worried that that's a very big contention they're going to have to deal with. The late night host said that after coming up with his idea, he discussed it with his son, screenwriter Peter McGee, and worked out a framing device for the film. After the groundwork was laid, Colbert called Jackson, and over the last 2 years, they've worked with screenwriter Philippa Boyens to develop a script. The film's official loglines reads, 14 years after the passing of Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin set out to retrace the first steps of their adventure. Meanwhile, Sam's daughter, Eleanor, has discovered a long-buried secret and is determined to uncover why the War of the Ring was nearly lost before it even began. Okay, but here's the thing. We already know why the War of the Ring was nearly lost before it began. Because Isildur kept the ring for himself instead of throwing it in Mount Doom. That's the entire reason. Like, freaking Elrond even spells this out for us. It's like, I was there when the strength of men failed, and then it shows us that Isildur just didn't throw the ring in. And then the ring was lost for years and years after Isildur was killed. Um, then Gollum had it. I don't know if anyone before Gollum had it when Gollum got it, but then he got it, and then Bilbo got it. Like that's the why the war was lost, was almost lost. Like even in the films, it said like everyone is clearly the kingdoms of men, Rohan and Gondor, are clearly on the retreat, and they know why because the dang ring is allowing Sauron to amass power because even though he wasn't killed, he was weakened severely, and the ring was what was allowing him to regain his strength. Like that was the entire debate of, well, why shouldn't we just use the ring for ourselves? Because it wouldn't have mattered. Because the ring doesn't want to work for you, it wants to work for Sauron. So again, this is something we already have the answer to. I don't know what this long buried secret is. This is what I'm concerned about. We're getting into fan fiction territory here, and not what the words that Tolkien actually wrote. I assume, but it's like it's something we already know. This new Lord of the Rings project marks Colbert's first foray into the blockbuster development. However, it is not his first collaboration with Jackson. He had a small role in 2013's The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. He also directed Jackson as well as Lord of the Rings star Ian McKellen, Viggo Mortensen, and Elijah Wood in the 2019 short film Daryl Gorn, which is set in J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. I've never seen this. I never heard of this. I'll have to look at it. And New Zealand-based screenwriter has had a long history working with Jackson. She helped pen his Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit film. All right, so this person here seems to be experienced in doing it, which is fine. I'm not really concerned about the production team here. McGee has worked in production on several movies and TV shows, including 2019 Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. Okay, throw him out. Throw him out. Rise of Skywalker. Get him out of here. Nope. That was not good. So, whoever this guy is, who is this guy? I don't know who this McGee guy is, but keep him away. Somehow Sauron returned. That's what's gonna happen. Okay, Tolkien penned The Lord of the Rings in the 1950s after the success of his 1937 book The Hobbit. Yes, Jackson famously adapted the fantasy saga into 3 films in 2001, 2002, and 2003. Rider is considered to be Jackson's most celebrated work. They earned 17 Oscars, with 11 of those going to the final chapter, The Return of the King, as they should have gone, because that was a brilliant movie. They were brilliant movies. It was amazing. I wasn't as big a fan of the Hobbit adaptations. Like mainly because I think there was a lot of divergence from the book, and I didn't like the set design on The Hobbit. The it looked more reliant on CGI than the Lord of the Rings trilogy did. I mean, I still watch the movies, but I don't think I've really seen them as much as I watched the original trilogy. Dang, it's been like over 10 years since Hobbit was released. I remember reading The Hobbit and being like, "Oh, wait, they're making a movie out of this?" in like 2011, 2012ish. I was looking forward to it, yeah. All right, so that's it. So here's my verdict on all this. I want to get out of here because um, those ads are killing my computer. So here's the thing. I'm not going to doubt Stephen Colbert's f- fan status in the Lord of the Rings fandom. I'm not going to doubt that. Like I don't really like the guy personally. I think he's a liberal hack. Um, but you know, when you're in a fandom like a fictional fandom and whatnot, you have to share the medium with a bunch of different people who may not share the same point of view as you do, or the same politics as you do. Which is why I'm hoping that this will be a good film, even if I disagree with the person who's writing it. But my main concern is, again, I'm worried we're going to go into fan fiction territory. If we wanted to do an adaptation of another adaptation of Tolkien, why don't we compile stories from the Silmarillion and do that? Because at least there, Tolkien has written words and um, a guideline of what he would have wanted. Like, it's it's just I worry that it's because I remember there was the Rings of Power that came out, which I watched the first season of, and it sucked. And then they made a second season, and I haven't even seen the second season yet. Like it seemed like, again, it seemed like fan fiction to me. And my cousin, who's a very big fan of Lord of the Rings, she hated it. Like it felt like we had to strap her to the chair to like watch this every week an episode came out, because we wanted to get her opinion on everything that was going on. And like the first 5 minutes of the first episode of the Rings of Power, she was like, "This is bullshit." So so yeah, my main concern is we're gonna go into fan fiction territory, and I haven't even seen the second season of Rings of Power, by the way. I might just watch it just to see of how much worse it could possibly get. But again, like it's a shame because we have material that could be adapted to screen. We have the Silmarillion. Why don't we just adapt that? Keep as close to the text as you possibly can. Yes, I understand that you can't have everything in there, but don't go veer off into some weird fan fiction that contradicts the initial author's intent. And that's my main worry for this. But again, I'm hoping this is going to be a good film. Apparently, like Peter Jackson's on board, and he made a great original trilogy back in the early 2000s. But just today, with how everything is and how everything is politicized, I worry that this guy especially is going to have some things to say about the current affairs of the of post Sauron Middle Earth. You know, but I will be pleasantly surprised if he doesn't. I will be pleasantly surprised if this is a good film. But anyways, I, I'm I'm going to I'm gonna go. This wasn't really a political video for me. Just to take on something on a popular culture event. I, apparently, there's also the new Harry Potter series, which I'm gonna make a separate video for that too, because I do have a lot of things I want to say about that. As someone who's actually read the Harry Potter books and who liked the original movies, I have a lot to say about that. So I probably won't make it next video, but maybe somewhere later down the line, because pop culture isn't really what I'm into and what my channel's about. But I am a fan of certain things, and I will make my voice heard if I feel like there's something that might happen that may not be good for the medium as a whole. So, anyways, guys, hope you all have a good night. Stay safe, like, subscribe, comment down below what you think if you are a fan of Tolkien. and your opinion on this. Have a good night, everybody.